Welcome to the show, IB Nation Sports Talk. We're off and rolling on a Tuesday. Glad to have you here today. I see Tommy bouncing in. Thank you for the congrats for yesterday's announcement. If you didn't hear yesterday's, air quotes, big announcement regarding IB Nation Sports Talk, as of next Monday, July 21st, IB Nation Sports Talk is taking its show to the airwaves here in South Bend. We are basically becoming a show known as Budweiser's Weekday Sports Beat, 5 to 7 p.m. on the radio station I used to work at before I came to Irish Breakdown a little bit more than 3 years ago. Brian was on the show with us yesterday. Jim from the radio station was on the show with us yesterday. And just a quick recap, the show is still going to be seen right here on the live Irish Breakdown YouTube channel every day, every weekday from 5 to 7 p.m. Eastern Time. You will still find us on the Irish Breakdown podcast platform. So really, not a whole lot's going to change. The only thing, there'll be some subtle changes because of the fact that it will be a radio show. There will be some commercial breaks, but we won't actually air the commercials during the breaks and that kind of stuff. But IB Nation Sports Talk is going to become IB Nation Sports Beat as of next week. We'll change the Sports Talk to Sports Beat to match up with Budweiser's Weekday Sports Beat. So we're looking forward to that. We will start that next week. And again, you'll still be able to come and join us live during the show. I'll just have a little bit different background because I'll be in the radio studio as of next Monday. Vince and Jesse will still be with me. Some other people will still be bopping in. Brian Driscoll will be part of the show. We'll do some recruiting talk once a week. And Eric Hansen will be with me once a week as well on Fridays. Thank you very much for the super chat, Matt. And thank you for the congrats as well. So still working on the possibilities of a call-in show. I know a lot of people were hoping that it was going to be the announcement that we were doing a call-in show. There are some concerns as to how people would act on the air. So I'm not sure how we can alleviate any of those concerns in the short term. We're working through that. I'm in favor of giving it a shot. Some other people are not as hot on it. We'll have that conversation, though, when we get there. All right, so Vince DeDario is going to be joining me here in a few minutes for some rapid fire. But in the meantime, one of three Notre Dame women's basketball players from last year's team returned this year, and she is going to join me right now. We are joined by the one and only KK Bransford from the Notre Dame women's basketball team, enjoying hopefully a nice hot summer here in South Bend. How you doing, KK?
I'm doing great. No, the summer's been treating me very well. Some time off, so it's been great.
Well, let's kind of maybe start right there because obviously you missed all of last season with the leg injury. So you played pretty much every game your first couple years before last year. So how are you feeling health-wise right now?
Yes, health-wise, I've never felt better. I think last year was obviously it was tough just because I wanted to play. I wanted to be out there, but
right.
It was probably one of the best decisions I've made because just being able to really recover my body and really get right mentally and physically. I think a lot of the injury was mentally too, and just being able to be there mentally. So by the time this season comes up, I'll just be so confident in my leg. I'll be confident playing with the girls, meshing again, because it has been a while. I feel like I haven't played in the game in forever. So,
I bet.
I'm really excited and I feel really healthy. So,
well, so I guess maybe let's go back a couple years because you obviously it was before your I guess it would have been your sophomore season. You kind
Mhm.
of you missed a few games to start
Yes.
that season with the leg
Mhm.
injury. Were you I mean, but you ended up playing most of the year. Were you ever 100% that season?
Yeah, so the season I started off, I didn't play. I remember the first game was in Paris, and
Right.
I was so jealous of everyone. But I sat out the first couple of games, and then if I came back on the court because I was healthy. I felt strong enough, but I think just as the season went on, as especially when ACC play started, you're playing Thursday, Sunday. It's just so
Right.
often after that surgery. I just think it needed a little bit more time. So I had to go in there and get healthy and just really take some time to step back, to listen to my body and things like that. But that season I came back on the court because I was healthy. It just as time went on, it just wasn't healing still like correctly. So
So did you guys just decide over the course of that summer, like let's just get it taken care of and shut it down and kind of what you're talking about, get it back to 100% hopefully.
yeah, yes, for sure. I mean, immediately after the season, I mean, I went through it a little bit during the season, especially towards the end, like I said. But when I felt like I was like, okay, let's just check it out, really, really dig into it because
Right.
I was in some pain, especially towards the end of the season. So we figured it out, and it required another surgery. So I did have my other surgery, and like I said, it just was so much better just to take that time and just to not have a rush. So even before the summer, before coming into the summer, I knew in my head that I was going to redshirt. So um, it was a sense of not like, oh, okay, we gotta come because I'm a very competitive person. I want to be on the
Right.
floor. So it kind of gave an ease to my mind of just, okay, let's heal. You have a whole year and some more. And just being able to get healthy and also work on my game as well. Just not being able to have an off season. Since being in college, dealing with that injury, I didn't have a true off season. So
Yeah.
this is my first off season, and it makes a difference having that time.
So was there ever a point last year where, you felt like, hey, maybe I could get out there and go? Or was it just always kind of like, no matter what, I'm
Mhm.
I'm just, hanging out over here recovering the whole year?
I kudos to my parents. They were very much
They had to
like,
talk you
we
down.
don't care what you say. Like, even if you feel good, just take some time because I did have the time. But obviously during the season, we had a really great season. There was times, especially with some of the players, we graduated a lot of the seniors years. So it I kind of got in my head like, oh, I'm not gonna be able to play with like Sony again, Maddie again. But I started to heal a little bit more probably towards like February, but by that time it's just kind of like
Yeah, it's
I'm just gonna do what I can do to help the team. So
right.
I would practice on the practice squad and be help out during the scouts. So I just kind of took a different role and really embraced that role of how can I make my teammates better.
Well, I mean, you talked about your competitiveness and the fact, I mean, you've played literally, competitive basketball for most of your life when you factor in high school and all the
Yes.
AAU and everything else that you're doing. I mean, that had to be brutal to be sitting there on the bench. You're traveling with the
Yes.
team, you're doing all that stuff. What was that like to go through that and not be able to get out there?
Yeah, I mean, I've never, like you said in the beginning, I had never sat out a game, even in high school, AAU, all this. This was my first surgery. So having to sit out, it definitely was a huge mental thing. But I had players who were previously hurt. There was also players that redshirted with me, with Kylie Watson and Emma. So I really kind of leaned on them and the other girls. I know Maddie started off the season not playing. So, and then Liv prior having her, she was out for a whole season. So I really leaned
Right.
on them to kind of be like, okay, they know what it's like. They got through it. Now they're out here on the court thriving. I think Liv was probably the biggest testimony of taking your time because she came back and not only she improved so much from her game with the 3-point shot, just different things like that. So just really tapping into the people that I had with me and just being able to take what I can from them. And obviously I was going to have days where I'm like really frustrated, but just really focusing on my own rehab and my own journey and getting back on the court. And that's kind of where I channeled my competitiveness of, okay, if I'm supposed to hit this week, I'm going to hit like that kind of thing. So playing that game
Right.
kind of with myself.
So where do you think, like you talked about, you finally get an off season, you obviously got a lot more rest than you were used to getting. So like
Mm-hmm.
where are you right? You've been practicing with the team this summer and
Mm-hmm.
doing that kind of stuff. Like where's your game right now?
Yes. I mean, I'm full go. So, like I said, I've kind of been full go a little bit since February. So just being able to kind of get with the team now in the summer, we've been able to kind of build that chemistry and stuff. Um, so that's been really amazing. Like I said, I just want to play at this point. I just want to get back on the court. I really love the game of basketball. So taking that time away, it was really good, but it made me realize a lot of things and showed me a lot of things that I needed to work on. It just gave me a lot of time to sit back and, work on my jump shot, work on finishing, even defensively, working on becoming faster, stronger, those things like that, because that is what the off season is for. And previously I didn't have that and kind of didn't realize how important it was. But now that I'm going through it right now, just how important it is to have your body physically ready, because during the season, you can't really catch that up. It starts now.
Yeah.
So just being able to really focus on getting my body together so that during the season, I'm just able to play.
So is there any area where you feel like either you're already better right now or that
Mhm.
you've been working on specifically as you gear up for this season?
Yes, I feel like there was a lot of things coming into college. Like, I came into college uh coming playing with really great players, but when you get to college, it's a different level. So
Yeah.
I definitely feel like I've been working on my jump shot a lot. That was probably one of my biggest things. Being hurt, that I really focused on. So that, and then also just I feel a lot faster. I feel a lot stronger. I feel just like healthy. Like I'm able to use my leg. There's times where I didn't really realize, but just being able to trust in my legs. So, and even ball handling. I know that throughout playing at Notre Dame, I've played so many different positions. There's times where I had to be the point guard. There's times where I had to be the four. So just being able to kind of really sharpen those skills with my ball handling. And then so I am able to run the point at times. And then being able to work at the high post, learning how to get through those moves. So just really breaking down a lot of my game has been a big thing, watching film a lot. And also, like I said, just making sure I'm healthy.
Well, I mean, just kind of like you went through there, you've always been a really versatile player. I mean, you played
Mhm.
everything basically but center,
Yes.
in your time so
Hmm.
far. So like when you apply that to this year's team, because it is going to be so drastically different
Hmm.
than the last few years, like what does that mean for you, do you think, on the court this year?
I mean, it means a lot. Like I said, I'm really embracing the versatility of my game and just being able to be like, hey, Coach Ivy, being able when she needs something, I'm able to do it. I've been working, so she is able to throw me at the high post, making sure I'm knowing the plays, making sure all those little things. So I'm excited because, like you said, it's a totally different team. We're only returning 3 players from last year, and even
Yeah.
within the three, like I didn't play. So um, with Hannah and Cass really returning, I think they've done a really good job, and me as well, just being able to really build a culture, because it is a culture reset. We have some transfers coming in, we have people coming in from all different places, but being able to kind of combine all of our experiences and putting it out on the court, I think that has been something that we've really been working on this summer.
Does it kind of mean a different role for you from a leadership standpoint now as well?
For sure. I mean, I definitely, me, Hannah, and Cass, like, we have to step up in that role and just kind of show, because we know we've been with Coach I, we know what she wants. And then even last year was such a big learning opportunity for me, sitting on the sideline, seeing things that I probably wouldn't have seen that when I was playing. So, and applying that. Just, we had such a talented team last year, so many seniors. So pulling from their leadership and how they led the team and, just enhancing that a little bit more this year and pushing the girls, seeing where there's things where we fell short. I felt like there was opportunities that we didn't take advantage of last year. So making sure that we're not going through that again. But like I said, it starts now. It starts in the summer. It starts with the habits that we're bringing, the energy that we're having. All that starts now, because towards the end of the season, that's what we have to rely on.
That's interesting what you were talking about, like seeing things from the bench. I mean, do you kind
Mm-hmm.
of literally see things maybe from the coach's perspective a little bit more when you're over there like that all year?
Yes, for sure. I mean, when you're on the court, you're like, okay, they're yelling at me to do this. I don't
Right.
see it, but being on the bench and being able to hear the coaches, but also see it, I think is the biggest thing. And showing like how many I think the biggest thing that I saw was like controllable things, like talking, different things like that. Those little things that make a championship team. That's really what gets the hump, like puts the hump over, because UConn winning the national championship, they did so many of the little things. And I think that's kind of what I saw on the bench, of just like really paying attention to the details.
Do you think that motivates you maybe a little bit more, as big a rival as UConn is, and the fact that you've beat them the last couple of years, but they ended up winning the whole thing? Like,
Uh-huh.
does that kind of, stick in your craw maybe a little bit?
It definitely puts a fire under all of us. UConn's such a great team, and it's such a good rival historically.
Right.
So just them seeing them win and seeing how they won, just the different things that they put in, the chemistry that they have within each other, and knowing that like you said, we beat them the past couple of years. So it definitely puts a chip on our shoulder for sure.
I'm curious. Go back to your recruitment process a little bit. I mean, you're in Cincinnati. Obviously, that's where you're from. Do you remember like the first contact you had with either Niele Ivey or whoever on her staff contacted you first?
Yes, I coach Coquise Washington was my first point of contact. Actually, funny enough, my mom and Coquise Washington grew up together.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yes. So they
Very
played,
cool.
like I call her Auntie Queasy. so I always grew up around her. But once, the recruiting part and me playing basketball started, our relationship just rules wise had to kind of separate a little bit. But once Notre Dame started recruiting me, I was able to, talk to her. And then Coach Ivy was just amazing. I just remember when she was at the Grizzlies, and she
Yeah.
was just so iconic. So being able to be on the phone with her, like it was amazing, especially being so young. But I think just those first couple of conversations I had with all the staff, I know I talked to Coach Mabry a lot, and just the conversations were so genuine. And it to now, like from the recruiting process to now, like it's the same thing. They're family. They really show like a family and care about you off the court as well as on the court.
Niele has a reputation, obviously, as a player's coach, and so I mean that means different things to different people, I think. So, like as a player who's played for a few years, what's that mean to you?
Yeah, for me, I just think Coach Ivy is very collaborative. I think that she really wants to learn from us too. And not all coaches are like that. Some coaches are, okay, this is my way, this is how we're going to do it, different things like that. But even showing this year of it is a different team, she's been so much asking me, Cass, and Hannah, just like, what do you want to see from this year? What do you see from this? Like, she's very intentional with the relationships and the conversations she has with us as players. And you can just tell that she is soaking up all of the things that we are saying in the feedback, because at the end of the day, we are on the court. And I think her playing in college and in the W, I think she understands that. So she really, really embraces that, even from the coaching staff. I think that's a big thing too. She really listens to her assistant coaches. She really takes from them. So I think she's just she soaks up a lot of things, and she embraces that and welcomes that and really wants that from us as players. So and for me, I really appreciate that because I don't have to be frustrated like, oh, I see this but I can't communicate that with my coach. And so she's totally open with those things.
Do you think that's going to help a lot? Again, considering the fact that you did, the team, they had to go to the
Yeah.
port, to bring in so many new players this year.
No, I think it helps a lot. I mean, I praise Notre Dame, and it starts from the staff. It starts from Coach Ivy. It starts from the people that is here. So I think in the portal, I think a lot of people see that once they have conversations with Coach Ivy. They always are like, she's a player coach. She has that relationship. She builds that, and that's really important to her. So I think it's very helpful for us at Notre Dame.
Okay, so I mean, again, like with all the new faces and you and Hannah and Cass being the only three players still here, I think there's a lot of I get questions from fans all the time. What's this team going to look like? How good are they going to? All that kind of stuff. Understandably,
yes.
So what do you think based on what you've seen working out so far this summer?
I'm truly excited for this year. I think it is going to be a lot different than last year. I think we're going to be a lot quicker. I think we're going to be very up and down, very defensive oriented. But like I said, I just think last year taught us a lot. I think only making it to the Sweet 16, it kind of put a bad taste in our mouth, and I think we're hungry. And I know especially from Hannah and Cass, like they went through that season, they were on the court. So just being able ending the season, it was really good that we made it to the Sweet 16, but we had more on our agenda.
Sure.
we had a bigger goal. So just having that, I think throughout our summer workouts, our practices look different, our workouts look different, just the expectations and stuff, because Coach Ivy, she is fairly new, but she's starting to, get her feet even with finally graduating somebody that played for her for 4 years with Sony. Right. So I think she's getting more comfortable and knowing what it takes to make a championship team. And I think we're all really embracing that. The new girls are amazing. I'm so excited for everyone to see us play. I think our chemistry it's been crazy how quickly we've really picked up on things and how well we've been doing a lot of pickup this summer and just getting up and down and trying to learn how to play with each other. But like I said, I'm extremely excited if we can stay healthy. I think it's going to be a scary season for us.
So what do you think? Again, I know it's the middle of summer and everything, and like Hannah's been playing, with Team USA, and
yes.
and Vanessa DeJesus just left to go play in Asia. So like, what do you think the strength of this team could be?
I'm like I said, I think it's has no limitations. I think we need to stay healthy. I think that's the biggest thing that we're trying to manage and work on. But Hannah is ACC Player of the Year. Like, she has.
I think people forget that sometimes when,
yes,
when they're kind of worried about this team.
I say it all the time. Hannah is one of the top players in the country in NCAA since her freshman year. So, with that alone, that speaks volumes, and then we have me and Cass, who've had those experiences. The transfers have had so much experiences coming from really great programs. So I think, like I said, I think we're going to shock a lot of people, and I'm excited for what we have in store.
All right. Writing down the guarantees, KK guarantees. You're going to talk to people.
Yes. I mean, I'll stand on it. All
right. All right. No problem with that. Before I let you go, I did want to mention, we were talking before we started. You're going back home here pretty soon to Cincinnati. You've got some camps in August that you're going to be hosting. Kind of give us the details on that.
Yeah, so August 2nd, I'm running a camp with another basketball player, Chance Gray from Ohio State. And her older sister is Amber Gray, who went to Tennessee and then transferred to Xavier years ago. And she was a McDonald's. All three of us were McDonald's All-Americans. Chance is going to be a senior. We're all from Cincinnati. So it's just something to kind of give back to Cincinnati. It's Ohio Legacy Camp. And we're really honing in on just taking the younger kids. It's a girls and boys camp, and just making sure that, we're able to give what we can, our experiences, different things like that. Because I know growing up, I had role models like Kelsey Mitchell, even Amber Gray, like those older girls from Cincinnati, and it's did wonders for me when I was younger. So just me and Chance have been really talking about it for years, of just being able to have that opportunity to give back. It's third grade to all the way up to eighth grade. It's the whole day, 2 different sessions. So I'm really excited for that. I'm also doing something I did last year. It was where I took the seniors, I think it was 5 seniors in Cincinnati. And then I had older people who are in college and has graduated college, coaches, and have a luncheon. And just kind of, like I said, give advice, be around people, especially those seniors that are going to go to college next year. So those 2 opportunities.
Very cool.
Yes, just this all season I have time, and I love Cincinnati. I love where I grew up, and that's where I am from, and it has great basketball, has great talent there. So just being able to give back to those younger kids at those different age levels.
Is there a website or anything that people can go to sign up? Or
I have a link. But if you go to my Instagram page, it is right on my Instagram page. It's on my Twitter page. So yes, if you go to my Instagram page, it has the link and all of the information.
All right. Sounds good. KK Bransford, having a great summer. Looking forward to seeing her back on the court this season with Notre Dame women's basketball. Thanks for doing this, KK. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. Boom. And we're back with Vince DeDario. Great stuff there. Great stuff there with KK, I thought.
Yeah, no doubt.
Good insight.
She's a really good interview. And
I know.
Anybody's in the Cincinnati area, that sounds like a really good opportunity to take your kids out there and let them learn from some of the Cincinnati greats. I think that's a great idea.
Absolutely. Tommy was asking, assuming KK is a nickname, what is her real name, if that's the case? Her real name is Kaylin, which actually starts with a C, interestingly enough. But the story that I have heard passed down is she had a younger brother, and when they were young, he couldn't say her name right and called her KK, and it just stuck after
There you
that.
go.
They also call her Cookie. It was like her nickname. So she's got a nickname for the nickname, basically.
It's a lot going on there.
Yeah. My dad had a brother named Jay, but, it was his older brother. And when they were young, instead of brother, my dad, I guess, called him Bub, like that's how it came out. And Bub stuck forever. And it was like Jay did
Uncle
not
Bub.
like it necessarily. Yeah. He was always Uncle Bub. They were from the South and all that kind of stuff. So I think it's one of those things that, in the South, you got a lot of Bubs and Bubbas and those kind of things.
Right.
So Joe is asking if there are NIL exchanges for these interviews. There are not. If you were to, I think, want to interview a Notre Dame football player, there would be some kind of NIL exchange. But with the basketball players, fortunately, anytime we've asked or been offered, it's just, straight up, here's an interview.
Let's go.
So yeah,
Let's
good
go.
stuff. Good stuff. A lot of good insights. So
Absolutely.
yeah. And I think with that, Vince, we'll kind of segue. Are you ready for rapid fire?
Let's go, baby.
All right.
Let's go. I'm
going to start you before we get into our list of topics for rapid fire. We'll go back to yesterday's big announcement. I was talking about it at the start of the show today. And of course, the big announcement is beginning next Monday, the 21st of July, IB Nation Sports Talk becomes IB Nation Sports Beat, and we will also be heard live on WSBT Radio, 960 AM in South Bend, 106.1 FM in southwestern Michigan. So we're looking forward to that next week. Now, one of the things that we have talked about is a call-in show, and it seems to be of interest to our YouTube viewers.
I'm sure it is.
But it's not going over well with some at the top of the totem pole. Do you think we're going to be able to convince said people to make it happen? Can we make them an offer he can't refuse?
I don't know. It's going to be tough. I think there have been many, examples that have been publicized of things going a wrong direction when it comes to the call-in shows. They have some people spooked about potential.
I just feel like if Feinbaum can have callers on his show every day, some yucks like us can have callers.
I mean, you're not wrong. And I don't think there's anybody out there like this is super hateful towards us. So I feel like we'd be okay in that realm as well. But, guess we'll see.
Go ahead.
Probably get somebody to, screen the calls. Maybe
we've talked about that. We've talked about
voicemail.
Need a screener.
Or, I don't know.
Yeah. Joe says they can behave if they have to. Yeah. And then Matt makes a good point. It just takes one D-bag and it's all over. And that's the point I've made. Like, you get one warning and you ruin it for everybody.
One bad apple.
Good. Yeah.
One bad apple. Jim, it's just mean. It's just cruel. It's mean.
Speaking of the move to WSBT, we have the new WSBT Sports Radio YouTube page up and going. We appreciate some of the people who have already subscribed. If you've already subscribed to the channel, we do appreciate you. One of the things that will become exclusive to the WSBT channel as of next week is the rapid fire YouTubes. Those are all going to be going over to WSBT as of next week. So give us a follow. And I just put, if you would, boom. And I'm just posting Vince or Jim put it up there at Sports Radio WSBT. And I just put up the full link that you can find it, youtube.com/at Sports Radio WSBT. So there's the link. You can follow. Just head your way over there.
Yes.
And give it a like. Yeah, Joe was talking about the 5-second delay. That could be an issue because of the YouTube stream. Yeah. I don't know exactly how that would work because of the YouTube stream.
I don't think it would, actually.
Yeah. I think that could become disastrous, actually. So that would be an issue.
The delay is actually kind of complicated to deal with on the radio side too.
It is. Like just on a daily, just to use a delay. It's a little bit complicated. So,
but you have to hope that people can follow the rules.
But Matt, one of our Kansas guys, said the first question would be about Kansas football. So
there it is.
Hey, we can handle that. Tommy says, Jim on Sports, honored to be the first guest.
He wants to be the first one. He wants to kick it off.
Oh, he'd be honored to be the first guest.
Yes.
Well, Tommy, you're going to have to, as a former military man yourself, you're going to have to get these guys flying in the right, line, get them in order, and make sure that nobody, are we going to get promises that nobody's going to call in and say something that they can't take back on the air?
Tommy's going to, get in the semi and just head to their house.
Yeah.
Do a little knock on the door. We will be not having this. There will be repercussions for all actions.
Yep. So anyway, starting next week, we'll be joining forces with our old friends at WSBT.
Yes.
Sports being one of them. Yep. Vince will be there. Jesse will be there. I'll be there. Working on some guests for next week as well. I still haven't heard back yet. So, all right, let's get into some topics. Fill in the blank. Athlon Magazine has Jeremiah Love as a first-team preseason All-American going into this season. They also have Penn State running backs Nick Singleton on the first team and his backfield mate Katron Allen on the second team, but it's blank that Jadarian Price is not on the first, second, or third team All-American squads that Athlon has out.
It is a media farce that Jadarian Price is not on the list. The Penn State backfield, while very good, they are very good. They still come in second place for me as far as backfields in college football behind Notre Dame's, and Jadarian Price has not gotten the love that he so richly deserves in the media. And our guy Love has gotten all the praise, deservedly so. He deserves all the praise that he's getting. No question about it. But for whatever reason, the Penn State love goes too deep and the Notre Dame love only goes one deep. And as I said, I think the Notre Dame backfield is better than the Penn State backfield. So it's a farce.
Yeah, I like the farce. Farcical. It's a big farce. It is a major slight, I
Yeah.
think, because look, when you have two running backs who both rush for over 1,000 yards, which both Allen and Singleton did, I mean that stands out to some people. So they're getting some deserved recognition. But look, Allen was their leading rusher. And I think that Singleton is the better of the two running backs, but Allen was the leading rusher. He had over 1,100 yards. He did it on 220 carries, which is respectable. That's 5 per carry. That's not a huge number for a college running back.
Right.
You know, because like you've got a guy like Price who averaged 6.2 yards per carry last year. You know, last I checked, that's more than 5. Allen only had 350 more yards than Jadarian Price last year, but he needed 100 more carries to do it, you know? And I think that's kind of part of why Price is so overlooked, because of the fact, like, Love obviously was a highlight machine with the hurdles and the way he could run past people, and obviously the Penn State run where he showed the physicality and all that kind of stuff. So he's getting his deserved praise and love and recognition. But I think that Price is being overlooked in part because of what Riley Leonard. I was like searching for the correct Riley, and it wasn't tripping off my tongue just properly. But because of what Riley Leonard did as a rusher, he took away a lot of those running opportunities for Jadarian Price. If you don't have Riley Leonard in the backfield, I think that there's a pretty good shot that both Price and Love are both over 1,000 yards, just like Allen and Singleton. So I think that maybe it's good for Jadarian Price that he sort of flies below the radar a little bit, because there is all this attention on Jeremiah Love. And, you know, maybe it puts a little bit of a chip on his shoulder. I don't know how much he cares about these kind of things, but I think that there's going to be a really good chance that you see both Love and Price, like Allen and Singleton, you know, especially considering they have, you know, Price and Love have Allen and Singleton's running backs coach now. I think there's a really good chance that both of those guys end up right around 1,000 yards themselves this season. So I think it's a huge, as Josh says, huge oversight.
Yeah.
What was yours?
Well, I said it's a media farce.
It's farcical. That's right.
It's farcical. I do think, and I was toying with trying to get in there, like in my answer, you know, just wait for the end of the season All-America list. You know, and I think there's a chance that they could both be on that. You know what I mean? I really do feel that way. So, but it's still a farce. It's a farce.
Yeah, Tommy, solid point. Singleton did have some bumps and bruises and stuff like that. I mean, and honestly, you know, again, like if we're talking about, you know, like people are holding the knee injury, the MCL sprain at the end of the season against Jeremiah Love as a durability issue, that's not what that is, because it's not, you know, like a quad bruise or a hamstring tweak or anything like that. It's like literally anyone could have sprained, you know, like without any contact could have sprained their MCL. It just happened to happen to Jeremiah Love, you know, and that's, you know, again, like why maybe Allen ended up with a few more carries than what Singleton ended up with last year. And, you know, again, I do think that Singleton, like, especially as a prospect, is the better of the two backs, because I think that, you know, he's faster and, you know, he's got a little more slash and cut. And like Joe is asking, though, in terms of Jadarian Price, does he stay for another year to make his statement? I just feel like he's already missed a season with an injury.
Yeah,
and
he's a year older.
Yeah, I mean, if he has like the breakaway runs and all that stuff, and he has a season even not halfway, but, you know, comparable to what he had last year, NFL scouts are going to know. I think that he is a second to third round type NFL guy right
Day
now.
Two.
Worst case. Yeah.
Yep. And he'll have enough. I mean, if he goes over 1,000 yards, even in a supporting role, you know, 1A, 1B kind of a situation with Jeremiah Love, I still think that he'll have enough of a resume to go pro. Could he raise his draft stock if he's the primary guy for a year, maybe, but there's no guarantee he would be the primary guy with the talent that's in that room.
Yeah,
too.
and it's still a risk of more injury and all
Yeah,
that kind
I
of
feel
stuff
like
by staying another year.
with the way that they've recruited and things like that, I think they're kind of anticipating that both, Jeremiah and Jadarian take off after this year. And with the year I think they're both going to have, I think that makes sense on all fronts. I don't think he needs to be the quote unquote lead back. And just from a wear and tear standpoint, why would he? Go get drafted, and you make not all of your money. You make a good chunk of your money on your second contract.
Mm-hmm.
And if you go next year, you are 1 year closer to that second contract. Get drafted into a good spot. That's more important than anything. Just ask, Kyron Williams. Go get drafted to a good spot and then sign your second contract for your, life-changing money.
Yep.
That's what I would, if I was, giving advice to Jadarian Price, if he has the season I think he's going to have.
It's much less wear on the tires just
man.
by doing your thing and heading out and going and making.
Absolutely.
Now, I mean, obviously guys are making money now in college, so it's not like if he
sure.
stayed in college, he would still he'd make a nice amount of money for a college running back at Notre Dame. But at the same time, you get your pro contract, you're
right.
still going to make more when it's all said and done. And that's just for that position, with all the concerns about it and, the way it's been devalued and you're splitting time most of the time now anyway, he's in a great situation here at Notre
100%.
Dame. Make the most of what you've got. And then again, there's no reason that Love and Price can't be like Henderson and Judkins last year.
Absolutely.
Yep. So Leonard Moore is on Athlon's first-team All-American team. Emil Wagner made their second team, and Drake Bowen is on the third team. My question, which other, and obviously Jeremiah Love is also on the first team, which other Irish players have the best shot to maybe earn some All-American honors this season, whether it's first team, second team, third team, honorable mention, whatever it happens?
So I'm not going to say what level, but I'm going to name off some guys that I think have a chance, right? All right, here we go. Obviously, Jadarian Price, I think, has an opportunity. Okay, we've already talked about him. I think Malachi Fields has an opportunity.
Agreed.
I think that Greathouse has an opportunity. Okay. Now
agreed. Was getting ready to say that.
Yep. So let's move inside. Offensive line wise, I think Jagasaw is just injury prone at this point. I want to say injury.
But if he comes back soon enough, I think he's going to have a shot.
He's got a outside shot, very outside. I would say the two linemen that I would give the best shot would be Shrouth and Craig. I think they got the best shot with another outside shot, by the way, by Anthony Knapp. I think there's a chance, right? If you're left tackle on a playoff team, you've got a chance to be on one of those lists, right? So that's the offense. I think we're done with the offense, in my personal opinion.
Yeah. Vince has been going through the offense, and I'll go through the defense.
I want you to do defense. Yep.
Okay, starting with Tommy's. This is the first one who came to mind. Adon Schuler is way under the national radar coming into this season, and probably rightfully so. After you had a guy who won the Nagurski Award a couple of years ago and played the way Xavier Watts did the last couple of years, I think that Adon Schuler is really going to take off into the
poised for a breakout
to the national eye this year. So yeah, he's got a great shot. Christian Gray, I think he's got an outside shot. It's just going to be tough for another corner, I think, to do it. Now, maybe he could be second or third team, but someone's got to be thrown at, right? And I think that Christian Gray is going to kind of end up he's going to be that guy at least for a while this year, because you got to throw it at somebody, and most people probably are going to try to avoid throwing Leonard Moore's way early on. I think
Christian Gray has a chance to.
So that could impact him. I think.
I mean, he's got a chance to get some stats together.
Yeah, exactly. Now, if he makes some pay, comes up with the interceptions and stuff like that. Yeah. Kingston Viliamu Asa, I think, is going to have a shot, and I think Bryce Young.
There we go.
Have a shot.
Yep, those are the ones I would say as well. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, no one else really jumps off the page. I mean, is there a chance some other guys could potentially, do something? Sure. You would hope there's going to be a breakout somewhere, but those are the ones I had on my list as well.
Yep. All right. So readers of The Athletic voted Notre Dame USC as the fifth best college football rivalry in the country. Here's the order that they voted. Now, again, these are voters by readers, not by the writers or anything like that. So it's fairly, at least big and diverse group of people. Michigan, Ohio State is what they voted number 1. Alabama, Auburn, number 2, followed by Texas, Oklahoma, and then Army, Navy. Those were the top 4, and then Notre Dame, USC, number 5. So are you good with that order?
No, selfishly, I think Notre Dame USC should be higher than 5th. Now, you're going to get pockets of fans in these epicenters that are going to obviously argue with you. But if you're talking from a national standpoint, I think no one's going to argue Michigan, Ohio State should probably be number 1. After that, I think that's where you slot Notre Dame USC personally. I really do. And now, if you want to go patriotic and put Army Navy maybe 2nd and then put Notre Dame USC 3rd, I'm not even going to really have that argument with you. I'm okay with that. I'm all, Team USA and all of those things. So that's fine. But the lowest I would have Notre Dame USC is 3rd. Auburn, Alabama, I think has lost luster in my personal opinion. I don't live down there.
Like, do you think it pushes that, Alabama, Auburn, does it push it up that guy killed the tree, a few years back? And
I remember that.
All that stuff.
No,
went to jail.
Doesn't do anything for me. And I know that Oklahoma, Texas, they have their huge rivalry every year, and it's a neutral site every year, and it's the half and half thing, and all of those things. Sorry, Notre Dame USC is better. There's no argument that can be made that's going to sway me on that one. So I think at the lowest they should be is 3 here.
I think the thing about these rivalries, most of the rivalries are, they're obviously regional. Like Michigan and Ohio are right next to each other. Alabama and Auburn are in the same state. So you've got literally families of people, who one, husband went to one school, wife went to the other, or whatever. And,
right.
Like kids, splitting up schools. And Oklahoma and Texas are obviously next to each other. So I think that that's how most rivalries are. They're regional in nature, because like your neighbors, and you sometimes hate each other. Like Indiana, Purdue, nice rivalry. Doesn't rise to especially from a football standpoint, doesn't rise to the level of these, but just in terms of schools, because again, you're both in the same state or whatever. Army Navy is an interesting one. And I was wondering when I saw that they made the list, I was wondering where Army Navy would come in. And I find it curious that it's at number 4. I mean, because there is, like if you're a cadet or a midshipman at either of these schools, obviously that is, beat Army, beat Navy. That's like every year you go into your year, and like that is the thing. There's probably a case for that to be even higher than what it is at number 4. But I think I agree with you. I would probably go Michigan, Ohio State, especially because like when you look at the fact that they won the last 2 national championships.
And I have no problem with that. That's a massive rivalry. It's a hated. Like I'm good with it. Now maybe it's because we live kind of right in the middle of it. We hear about it all the time. But I think it does supersede the regional feel. You know what I mean? I think that's fair.
So I would put that number 1. I would have Notre Dame USC number 2. I would have Oklahoma, Texas number 3. Alabama, Auburn number 4. And then I would probably put Army Navy number 5.
Okay. Fair enough.
Because I think I'm also factoring in not just the rivalry itself, but like the actual national interest in those rivalries.
Yeah, the national interest is like everybody wants to talk about Army Navy, but how many people are watching? Like people watch it because it's literally the only game.
It's the only game that day. Yeah.
So like that's why people watch it, which I get, and that's why they do it that way. Because if you put Army Navy on rivalry weekend, which is usually that Thanksgiving weekend, the viewership is going to take a serious nosedive. It just is. And I'm not trying to be unpatriotic. That's just,
you know what though? I'd be curious, like if you put it on Black Friday or even Thanksgiving night.
So but again, away from some of these other games though, right? Like,
Right.
you don't want it going head to head.
Because, like, if it's Thanksgiving night, it would most likely still be a standalone college football game. You'd be going up against the NFL, but I think more people would probably watch Army-Navy Thanksgiving night than they would, Ravens, Bengals, or, whatever they happen to put as the late night, the nightcap game on Thursday. Personally.
Yeah.
Interesting. Curious, Notre Dame, Michigan was voted the number 15 rivalry, even though they haven't played for, what's it been, 7-8 years now, I guess, at this point. USC, UCLA, number 13.
Wow. Okay.
And those were the next two highest Notre Dame or USC rivals on this list that people voted. So it is.
Where's the Oaken Bucket game, Sean? Where's IU and
I'm
Michigan?
sure it's on the list. Let me see if I can find it here real quick. I can't remember how deep they went on this list. Let me see. Let me see if I can still find it. Okay, here we go. Okay, so I'll go down the list, so I'm not just here staring at a screen, not saying anything. Florida, Georgia, number 6. Texas, Texas A&M, number 7. Florida, Florida State is 8. Harvard, Yale, number 9.
See, again, you talk about, like, people are like, oh, Harvard and Yale. Who actually goes and watches that game besides people that went to Harvard and Yale?
Exactly. It's like no one even knows that game.
Not
is
on my
taking
bucket
place
list. That's for darn
yeah.
sure. Like,
Florida State, Miami is number 10. Alabama, LSU, Alabama, Tennessee. See, that's not even like you're going to tell me Alabama, Tennessee. They voted at number 12.
That's not a no.
Like
That's
they put that ahead of USC, UCLA, and Notre Dame, Michigan.
See, that's an SEC regular season game. That's not. Yeah, disagree.
Ohio State, Penn State, number 23. Cal, Stanford. This is injustice right here. Cal, Stanford, number 24.
First of all, how is Penn State, Ohio? Was it Penn State, Ohio State?
Yeah.
How is that 23? Penn State doesn't even consider it a rivalry because they didn't put any rivals in the Big Ten.
Yeah.
So come on. That's, you know what that is? That's Penn State fans praying that they have a rival and just voting on that. That's what that is.
Mm-hmm. So they only went 30 deep, and they did not.
Oh, come on.
The Oaken Bucket game did not make it.
That's more of a rivalry than Penn State, Ohio State. That's a travesty.
Yep, I agree. So let's go in that direction. What is a sneaky rivalry that's not maybe highly thought of nationally that is the top, that maybe should be somewhere on this list at some point?
I mean, outside of St. Joe Marion and maybe, Penn, Mishawaka, those kind of, I'm kidding. Those are local high schools, by the way. I do think the old Oaken Bucket, that's a heck of a rivalry game, at least locally. That's the one we hear about a lot, even though those teams are usually not good. And so that's probably not going to get the national attention, but I do think that that's an important game in the state of Indiana. I'm trying to think of some other one. I mean, there's other rivalry games that I have heard of, but like I would say the triumvirate. That's a good one, actually. I would say the triumvirate of the Commander-in-Chief's trophy. You know what I mean? The three service academies that play each other.
Force in there in the mix.
You know what I mean? Like that three-way rivalry, I think, is an underrated rivalry.
Air Force a little bit of a stepchild in that because all anyone talks about is Army Navy, but
they are, but yet they still have the best facilities of all three of the service academies, which I think is very interesting.
Josh says Notre Dame, Clemson will eventually make that list.
We'll revisit
12 years from now.
It'll take a while, but Josh, I don't disagree with you. I think that one could have national implications on a regular basis too.
I'm going. This is the I think the sneakiest yet most bitter rivalry.
Are you going
in America?
Say it.
Kansas, Missouri.
Kansas, Missouri.
Yes, it's not Kansas State. It is Kansas, Missouri.
Okay.
Yes, and now kind of like Notre Dame, Michigan, it's gone the way of the dinosaur because once Once Missouri moved to the SEC, they haven't played as much, even though they played in basketball last year. Missouri won. Hard to say, but Missouri won. But the two football programs are, I believe, going to play again this year. But Kansas, Missouri, it's known as the Border War, and it began in the 1800s, not like the football. Well, the football rival, no, it actually did begin in the 1800s. But the actual, like, the crux of why these two schools are such bitter rivals started before the Civil War, when Kansas was trying to get statehood, and you had, like, there was this, big dispute. Is it going to be a free state? Is it going to be a slave state? Again, this is pre-Civil War and pre-Kansas, becoming a state. So people always ask, like, what's a Jayhawk? The Free State fighters were known as Jayhawkers, and they were on that side of the border. And then you had this guy named William Quantrill, and I don't know if you've ever heard of Quantrill's Raiders, but, like, if you grew up where I grew up, you heard about Quantrill's Raiders. They came from Missouri, and they burned Lawrence to the ground one night. And then John Brown's, Free State fighters and all that kind of stuff eventually won out. Kansas became a state. But that, the heated Kansas-Missouri rivalry goes all the way back to that, when the two states, when they were, fighting for statehood and who was going to be a free state. There's a Free State high school in Lawrence, actually. They actually call it Free State High School. So there's your history lesson for the day.
I love it.
No oaken buckets. They were actually burning cities to the ground back in the day. Fill in the blank. ESPN.com has an article asking if Brian Kelly could win it all this year. It would be blank if he does.
Agonizing. All of it, just all of the above would be agonizing. The national media attention, the accolades for him. It would just be having to hear all the sound bites. And if you want to guarantee that I'm not watching the national championship game, that's how you do it. Because I just don't want to hear the backstory about Brian Kelly and how he was a national champion at the the D2 level and worked his way up and blah. I'm good. It'd just be a travesty on all levels. It'd be awful.
I think it would be miraculous if Brian Kelly and LSU
that too
win a national championship.
I totally took it personal.
And that's fine.
I went personal.
Fine. I had a feeling which direction you were going to go. Yeah. I just feel like it would be miraculous, because look, they're being hyped, and already, like, I watched some of the SEC network and some ESPN today, and they're hyping Garrett Nussmeier. Come on. It's crazy now that the SEC media days and we're getting closer. Like, all this hype that we're going to get on all these different players is just going to be nuts. And they're already hyping Nussmeier for Heisman and all this different stuff. Look, here's what it comes down to me. And why I think it would be miraculous is Brian Kelly had 4 wins against top 10 teams in his entire 12 years at Notre Dame. 4. Yes. Marcus Freeman had 3 consecutive wins last season against top 10 teams. Yes.
In a month.
Yes. He almost matched Brian Kelly in 3 weeks or a month or whatever it was last year.
He does have him beat overall, but he almost had him beat within that month, which is ridiculous.
Kelly is 2-3 against top 10 teams since going to LSU. So, okay, you can say he's got a lot of talent. He's had talent since he's been there. He had a freaking Heisman Trophy
talent at Notre Dame
years ago. Yeah. So and the only top 10 team that they beat last year was Ole Miss. Like, that's probably one of the better, maybe the best top 10 win that he's got. But they still went 8-4 last year, and that was the only top 10 team they played. So, I don't know. I think it's going to be miraculous.
It would be so bad, though, because it would be miraculous, Sean, that it would be even worse. That's why.
I'm going to switch it up here in the middle compared to the rundown that I sent you. We were going to guess the over-under for NC State.
Yes.
We haven't done LSU yet.
Oh,
so let's just go ahead and do LSU.
0-12.
We're going to guess the season over-under win total for LSU.
Okay. All right. Let's see
So
here. I
I
had
think
my
it's everybody.
NC State one. Let's go here.
Yeah, I didn't mean to.
You're
To
good.
switch you up. We'll
You're
save NC
good.
State for later in the week.
You're good. Let's
So
see
I think,
here.
as everybody knows, they're playing Clemson
Yeah.
to start the season.
Bam. That's an L.
Then it's Louisiana Tech.
Should be a win.
Then it's Florida.
Should be a win.
I'll call that a maybe.
Okay, that's fair. I'm not going to be upset with you.
Yeah.
I will never be upset for somebody calling for LSU to lose, ever. And that goes for before Brian Kelly was there, but even more so now. So, yeah, no, I'm with you. Okay.
Southeastern Louisiana.
Okay.
Ole Miss.
Wait, wins one.
I think they should be better than Ole Miss this year, but I'm going to call it another maybe.
Oh, that's a maybe for sure.
Yeah.
It's on the road, too.
Yes, at Ole Miss.
Lane Kiffin's going to score. So that's a maybe for sure.
Mm-hmm. Then South Carolina.
Probably a win at home.
A lot of people high on them.
Yeah.
At Vanderbilt.
Should be a win.
Should be a win. Diego Pavia thinks he's going to win a national championship, though.
He would be wrong, but that's okay. Still respect it.
October 25th, Texas A&M.
Yeah, that's a maybe.
Yeah.
I think that's a maybe as well, but it's also at home.
Mm-hmm.
Probably a night game, you would imagine. So that's going to be tough.
At Alabama.
Maybe.
So that's 4 maybes we've got. And a loss to Clemson that we're saying. Arkansas.
That should be a win.
Especially
at home.
Mm-hmm. Western Kentucky.
Oh, that classic weekend of solid SEC football.
Baby.
Yeah, that should be a win.
Yep. And then they finish off at Oklahoma.
That should be a win.
Should be a win.
That might be Brent Venables' swan song too.
Yeah. So that is 5 games in different degrees of question for the old LSU Tigers this year. You've got going head to head against the national championship contender in week 1, and then throw in Florida, Ole Miss, South Carolina, Texas A&M, Alabama. Not an easy schedule.
So 9.5. I'm going 9.5.
You're going 9.5.
But I think that's going to be. I think they're begging people to take the over at 9.5. There.
Mm-hmm.
So do you go 10.5, and then you've got people on the 10, or if it's 10.5, I'm taking the under. If it's 9.5, I'm pausing and I'm not sure which way I go. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like 9.5, I have to really think about it. 10.5, I'm taking the under.
By the way, just to give you some context, they beat South Carolina by 3 last year. They won in overtime against Ole Miss, their top 10 win. They lost to A&M. They lost to Alabama handily. And they lost to Florida as well. And then they only beat Vandy by a touchdown last year.
So you're saying there's a chance at destruction?
I think it's going to be 9.5 as well.
Yeah. I just think 10.5 is too high.
My initial instinct was 8.5, but I think that's probably too low. So
yeah, probably. Although, would you be surprised if they went 8-4? Would you be surprised? I would not be either.
I would not be shocked if they went 8-4 again.
I would not be surprised either. And then the Heat, you might as well just get the Bunsen burner out, because the Heat is going to be on old BK at that point. Now, that puts him almost halfway through his ridiculous contract. I don't know what the buyout would be at that point, but the Heat will definitely be on at that point. 8-4 is an absolute disappointment if you're an LSU fan. Absolute disappointment.
Yep.
9-3 is going to be in the neighborhood of disappointment.
I think so, but I also don't think it's out of the realm of
possibility. Oh no!
With that schedule,
if it is 9.5, I am very tempted to take the under. I'm curious to see what the odds would be.
So are you taking
9.5? Yeah, I am.
I've changed my mind. I'm going to go 8.5. I'm going to go with my initial instinct. Robin has 9.5. Josh has 8.5. Has anybody else put in?
Nope, that's it. That's all I've seen so far.
Okay, so Vince is 9.5 going with Robin. I'm 8.5 going with Josh. All right, Josh.
Come on.
If you're wrong, you owe me a cheeseburger. Here we go. LSU. 8.5.
Oh my gosh.
8.5. Thank you, Josh. Good job.
What are the odds they're putting with it?
Over is minus 134. Under is plus 110.
I mean, you're not getting great money at plus 110, but
No.
It's tempting to say under, but I would probably go over just because of the talent on the roster. But at 9.5, I would be very tempted to take the under. So,
yep.
Yeah. I wonder, like, can you move the line at all? Just out of curiosity.
Let me see.
Is that a movable line?
On here, it is not.
Okay.
Let me see, though. You might be able to. There's too much. It'd take me too long to find it, I think. I know on some, I know on some you can, like move the line or.
Yeah. If it was a movable line, that might be some fun to kind of mess with that a little bit. But yeah. Gosh, 8.5. They don't have a whole lot of faith in old LSU.
No, they don't.
Do they, man?
No, they don't.
Ooh, baby.
But, history says, why should you?
Agreed.
He's lost all 3 of his season openers.
But history also said that Coach O can win a national championship.
True.
Go Tigers.
And then be gone less than
2 years
later.
Because they were, woohoo. Yeah. Made a hard left turn there.
Fill in the blank. The home run derby uniforms last night were blank.
Putrid. They were awful. They were so bad. And you and I yesterday talked about the not alternate uniforms, but like the all-star uniforms and what they were going to look like and, all these different things. And I actually did a search to try to find out what they would be, and I couldn't find them anywhere. And then I turned on the home run derby, and it was like, what have they done? I was like, who's Al? Like, why? Like, what is this? Angels in the outfield? Like, what is happening? Like, why the lowercase lettering?
Well, I was thinking about it because we were texting last night. I wonder if it has to do, like the 70s throwback Braves with the small. Well, they have the small A on the front. They're the ones with like the white front and the blue back, and then they have like the small A on the front. I wonder if that's what it is. I wonder if that's what it is.
It didn't look good. I'm sorry. I was not a fan of those uniforms.
I thought the blue, the light blue were better, like the color.
National League ones.
Yeah. But the navy blue was just not good at all.
Yeah. And they didn't even, like the other players, the ones that were out there watching the game, they didn't even get uniforms. They got T-shirts.
Yeah. It was just the guys who were in the derby.
Like, what are we trying to save money? Like, what are we doing? Like, I liked it better when they were all in the uniforms, and they're all out there. And who wouldn't want to have their all-star uniform, up on their wall or something, at some point. They get a T-shirt. Like, it was bad. I was not.
I thought the hats were weird looking too.
They were weird looking.
Like when they zoomed in close, it was like some of them seemed like they were like too small on their heads.
And they had like the stars were like on the top.
The shape, was
like I don't know. And
they were kind of cheap looking, I thought.
Yeah, and the hats that they're going to be wearing tonight, based on what I was seeing during the home run derby, it looks like they're going to be wearing their regular caps, but they all have red bills, which is an interesting thing, I guess. Because it looked odd because the Cubs had on their home jersey, their home pinstripes, and the blue hat, but with like the red bill. And normally, when they've had the red bill in the past, it's been a road hat, and they're obviously not on the, you know what I mean? So like, but then I saw other teams and they all had the red bills. So I don't know. They're trying too hard.
Well, like the Braves have red bills, like, again, like, because they try to tie it in. It seems like to the host city and stuff.
If everybody's wearing their own uniforms, you get a patch. That's what it is. You get a patch here, you get a patch on the side of the hat, and we're done.
Did you see McAfee doing the announcements when he was doing the intros? He and one of the guys from his show were doing the intros.
No, I missed the intros
for the home run derby last night. He went sleeveless. Of
course he did.
He had on one of the navy blues and cut the sleeves off.
Of course he did. That's his thing. That's fine.
Yeah.
That's,
Tell you what, man, Cal Raleigh, that dude, I don't know how much you like that guy's swing. Like you could just tell.
That's a home run swing.
Yeah. Like you could tell as soon as he swung with the contact, it's like, okay, that one's gone. Like every swing, like you could tell right away.
Oh,
that angle that he's got. You're right.
And
it's like total home
his
run
swing looked exhausting.
Yeah.
I mean, he swings hard.
Well, and like he had it figured out though, because
Yeah.
he's a switch hitter,
Yeah.
and he's like, wore himself out on one side, so he switches to the other, and he's still dropping bombs.
I know.
There.
It was amazing. I mean, his swing was just powerful. And I will say, I watched for like an hour, and then I got bored.
Yeah.
It's too long, Sean. Like, I thought it was towards the end, and they're like, all right, the next round. And I'm like, oh my God.
That thing just keeps going.
I went and turned on Netflix. I was like, I'm good. I saw enough. I've seen enough to know I've seen too much. Like, that's
pretty cool though. Like, he had his dad pitching to him and his brother catching and stuff.
I always do like those kinds of, what I mean? Those kinds of deals.
Like when Chuck Ristano pitched to Trey Mancini a few years back when Trey did it. When Chuck was the Notre Dame pitching coach and all that kind of thing. But and then like a lot of dads pitch to their kid. That would be like the ultimate to get to do something like that.
Unbelievable. Like, are you kidding me? That'd be so cool.
I know.
That'd be so cool.
I know. So we started off talking about the Athlon preseason All-American stuff. I bought an Athlon college football preview magazine last weekend. And it made me think, when was the last time you actually bought a physical paper mag? Oh, Vince has got one too.
Well,
got it too.
But the key to the question is, when was the last time I bought it?
So somebody sent it to you, is what you're saying.
That is correct. His name is Brian Driscoll.
Oh,
he dropped it off in my mailbox.
Didn't send me one, I see. Okay.
And normally it's the Athlon and Lindy's. But this year apparently we're downsizing. We only got the Athlon this year, which is fine because we always do the previews on the afternoon shows in the summertime. So I got to do some homework.
Yeah.
And so that's always very helpful. So the last time I actually purchased a magazine, I can't even remember. That's how long it's been. I
can't remember the last time before getting that when I got one.
I was never a huge magazine guy in the first place. But like, I had a subscription to like Sports Illustrated.
Yeah.
I had subscription to like ESPN the magazine.
Hypophonetically.
I know, right? Yeah, right. Exactly. I had subscriptions to all of those things, but those have since gone by the wayside. Obviously,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go Irish Nate says magazines are like $20 now. I don't know if they're that much, but yeah, it's like,
how much is this? Well, the Athlon's $14.99.
Wow.
At least it says that's what it says on here.
Yeah.
So
that's
Father David's paying $17.99.
They got to make their money somehow.
Yeah.
I
guess.
Yeah. I used to have, like you, I had Sports Illustrated. I had Sport Magazine. I had both of them for a while. That was a long time ago. Like, talk about being dated, having Sport Magazine.
I've never even heard of that one.
Yeah. It's been a while.
Yeah.
It's been a while, but yeah, like, so you probably, just like me, you don't have any magazine or newspaper subscriptions.
We get the South Bend Tribune.
Do you still get the Tribune?
My wife loves to read the paper, and she loves doing the crossword puzzle. So she still gets the paper. The paper itself is a limited thing now anyway, but it's a lot different than it used to be. Let's just put it that way. You don't get the big Sunday paper with all the coupons.
And that's like, you don't get that. Right. And you also, like, I kind of held out as long as I could, I always felt like I work in this business, we, like support local journalism and all that kind of stuff. And, like we know Tom and, some of the other guys who write for the Tribune, obviously, and the guys who used to, but like, the problem is everything's 2 days old by the time you like, especially from a sports standpoint. Like, all the news is 2 days old by the time you get it. What's the purpose in it anymore?
When I first got married, it was my like weekly tradition in the fall. I was coaching high school high school football, and we do the games and all that. And this was in the early days of reporting online, right? This was pre-Twitter. This is pre a lot of things. And I would open the paper Saturday morning because it would be there when I would wake up before I would go to 8 a.m. practice on Saturday morning.
Yeah.
I would
see how everybody else did.
Or I would grab it and take it with me to practice and read about everybody on our schedule and all the local teams and all of those things, right? I love doing that. Now, you don't even get high school reporting until Sunday. And by then, it's old news. We're already preparing for the next team. Like, that is old news. And now Notre Dame games, you don't get anything in the paper until Monday.
Exactly.
So my wife's like, hey, did you hear about this? I'm like, yeah, we had a show about that 2 days ago.
Right.
Exactly. It's just, I don't read the paper anymore.
Yeah.
My wife does.
And that's when I finally had to start, because we used to get it daily, and then we cut it back to weekends, and it just, again, it like got to the point that was like, what am I even getting this for? I can go online and find it, which, I do like actually having the physical, like the Athlon magazine. It's cool. They've got capsules for every team in the country, and I like being able to go in. Like, I went through it over the weekend and looked at some of Notre Dame's opponents, and I would highlight some different stuff that I can come back to, and those kind of things that you can't do if you're doing it on a computer. But other than that, it's just a weird time. I guess not a weird time. I mean, it's been coming for a long time, but it
has been.
It's crazy how far it's sort of advanced in this direction just within the last 6 or 7 years, I think.
Yeah, it's wild.
But I was excited to get that Athlon magazine. I wanted to get, and that's when I usually bought the most magazines. Now that I think about it, is like when I was still in airports more, like going on trips, looking for something to read on the flight and stuff like that.
Well, now you've got all the movies and everything else you can watch on flights. I mean, Yep.
All right. Well, there's our old man jaunt.
Yeah, well, that's us.
Yeah. I mean, what can you do, right?
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up with that. Don't forget, once again, starting next week, IB Nation Sports Talk is going to be on the air, Sports Radio 960 AM, WSBT. It's going to be Budweiser's. We're gonna basically become Budweiser's weekday sports beat. The YouTube channel will remain. You'll still find us on the podcast. We'll have this live YouTube stream during the show. So, looking forward to that, and kind of getting off into a new adventure. I posted about it on the Champions Lounge today, so you can kind of read all the details if you missed any of us talking about it yesterday. But I guess that's going to do it. So hit the like button before you leave, and we'll talk to you tomorrow on IB Nation Sports Talk.